Oh, Joe, I know you read my email. It's about sports.
Is this mic on, Joe? Hello, 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 hello. Oh, this one here? This one? Hello? All right. Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to Andy. Good morning, a special good morning to Andy. Well, welcome back. So I'm filling in for Ron. I don't want you to think this is a permanent thing. Okay. Ron is out. He'll be back next Wednesday. So just put up with me. I know you guys are bumming that Ron's not here. So Jay, are you paying attention? Okay. All right. So anyway, we're going to kick off this meeting. Got some good news and some bad news. Sorry, Pat. The good news is, well, the bad news is the Indians lost yesterday. So that's over. But the good news is we have Guardians tribe, Guardians. The good news is we got the Browns and the Packers to watch. So, all right. With that being said, sorry, Pat. All right. So at this point in time, Jim said that Kelly's going to come up and do our prayer. Stand him up. Why, does he normally hunch over? All right.
Thank you, sir. We'd all bow our heads. Here's to a long life and a merry one, a quick death and an easy one, a pretty girl and an honest one, a cold beer and another one. Amen.
That was a very interesting prayer, to say the least. All right, so Bob, would you like to come up for the four-way test and the Pledge of Allegiance? Someday you'll be doing that with me.
Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test, I hope it appears. Number one, is it the truth? 2, all. 3, 4, would be beneficial all.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, at this point in time, I'd like to bring up our president of the club, Mr. Joe Boisel.
Sir. Oh, I get applause. I'll take that. All right. Fantastic. Good to see you all here this morning. A couple of announcements that we have. The first one is that the Gala Committee meeting is going to meet next Wednesday, following this meeting. So if you can bring some ideas, if you want to participate, it would be great to have as many as possible in that meeting. In October, our club is supporting Haven of Rest Ministries in Akron, which is mostly a ministry to inner city homeless people. And so one of the things that we're trying to provide for them are men's and women's socks. And you can imagine how appreciated those would be. So you can bring those. Also, cash is always welcome. So they're good like that. This morning, we have with us our Hudson Service Learning Team. So I want to invite them to come on up and share with us. I don't know who to give this to.
Good morning, Rotarians. I'm not sure if you drove through the same weather I did this morning, but I got a little bit of everything except for sun, which was the one thing I was hoping for. Yeah, it was just about everything else. So there's a few things to update you with service learning. We just had maybe our best trip ever at Camp Ledgewood last week. And fortunately, it was last Tuesday and Wednesday and not today and yesterday. So somehow the weather smiled on that, but it was an absolutely outstanding trip. We were able to do 3 hours of service on Wednesday morning, which worked out really well. Camp Ledgewood, the Girl Scout camp in the Valley, just needed all sorts of work. A lot of gravel. We had a lot of kids shoveling and moving gravel, which was great. And other things, painting as well. And one of the things, so the grant that you give to service learning, we were able to take that grant and create bags for the women and their families at Access Women's Shelter. So we were able to then, and that was one of the projects that some of our students were working on while they were doing the service at Camp Ledgewood. So we do really appreciate that. I know Access Women's Shelter is really going to appreciate those bags as well. One of the kind of highlights for me sometimes is finding new sites. And as I told you last time, the Boys and Girls Club has been just an outstanding site, and we're hoping to get Jake here to tell you a little bit more about it next month or maybe the month after, just to let you know how things are going with that. And really, that's a site we kind of owe you for, because we happened to be here that morning that Colette was here in the spring. And we have another site that we have picked up or will be picking up in the winter. And what really inspires me about that one is it's from a former service learning student. She reached out to us. She's now working with the center in Akron. And so that's something we're really looking forward to. But we also have a new site that we're in right now. It's Haven of Portage County. It's a homeless shelter in Ravenna. And we have Ben here to tell you a little bit more about it. But his supervisor, Anne Marie Noble, we've actually worked with her for, I mean, like, she goes back to like early Lonnie days is how long ago that is. Just between Center of Hope she worked at, and she also worked at the Valor Home. And then she decided to build and basically from scratch create her own homeless shelter in Ravenna. And Ben, I think, is he'll tell you he's really lucky to be there. So I'll turn this over to Ben to share a little bit more about that.
My name is Ben Hopkins, and I'm a senior at Hudson High School. And as Cosman said, I'm at the Haven of Portage County in Kent. This is a homeless shelter for anybody that has a clean background or hasn't been violent anyway. And even though there's some guests that stay there that have been violent before, they check out and are still nice and prove themselves. I'm there and the guests aren't there. So basically I'm doing all the behind the scenes work, and I'm still doing stuff even when the guests aren't there. So I still feel like I'm helping them even if they aren't seeing it. I have been serving here since August, and I've really enjoyed it. It started in April, I think, and Anne Marie's great, site supervisor. She's awesome. She's really nice to the people I work with in my school. Each day I go, I'm doing something new, whether it is helping in the back room with storage or cleaning them big bedrooms that they have. It really has put a perspective on the things I see. So I see they have 2 storage rooms, and I see things that the guests leave there, and I've had to clean them out before, and it's sometimes really like it opens my eyes to all the stuff they have. And they have two massive bedrooms, one for guys and one for girls, and then they have two family rooms, which is awesome. But the sad thing is the family rooms always get taken up. So people call and it's always taken up, which is sad. But I always spray the beds in the bedrooms, do all that. Pretty easy. Sometimes when I'm there, I am behind this. I'm doing the computer work, so I read each person's record that they have to do, their background check, and sometimes it can be kind of scary because you're reading their past and what they've done, and a lot of it is drugs, alcohol, which is why they ended up homeless because they got addicted to that. There's also been stories of people being violent in a shelter. So one time there is woman and another woman, and they got mixed up with their stuff in a storage room and things didn't go too well, and the cops had to show up. But that happens good amount, unfortunately, but they do a good job of breaking it up. Overall, I've really enjoyed my site. I'm really happy I'm there. Even if I'm, like I said, even if I'm doing the behind the scenes work, I still feel like I'm helping out, which is nice. Moving on to college, I'm looking to major in exercise science and to go on beyond that. I've applied to Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio, Elon, North Carolina, and High Point. And Ohio University. I found out yesterday that I got an Ohio University, even though I'm probably not going to go there. But my goal is to play soccer and still have a fun time if I can. And it's definitely a stressful time, as many people know, but I'm excited for what's to come. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. I'm Gina Vonville, and I'm happy to be here. I'm here to introduce Olivia Greenbaum. Olivia is at Crossroads Hospice, and though I haven't had a chance to see her at site because her particular hospice doesn't allow us to come and visit her when she's with patients, I got a chance to work with Olivia and her supervisor, Jamie Hale, when they were meeting about putting together memory books a few weeks ago, and she had nothing but wonderful things to say about Olivia. So I'm going to give her the chance to talk to you about what she's been doing there.
Hi, my name is Olivia Greenbaum, and I'm a senior at Hudson High School. Being a part of the service zoning program was one of the best decisions I've ever made. It has truly opened my eyes to how high school students are able to have an impact on their community. My first semester site is at Crossroads Hospice. As a 17-year-old, it is definitely a new experience for me. Being in a building with elderly, all expected to live 6 months or less, was really sad at first, until I looked at it from another perspective. I'm honored that I can make a positive impact on someone near the end of their life. I mostly provide companionship and comfort, and with a few of my patients, we've developed a genuine friendship and bond. The patients I visit are all different. They're in different buildings, have varying diseases. Some are verbal, some are not, some are in the memory unit, and others just really like to sleep. My favorite memory I've made is my partner and I showing one of our patients our dresses and pictures from our homecoming dance at school. For that same patient, we are creating a life journal for her. We are compiling her favorite memories, quotes, and pictures into a book that her family can keep to look back on. After high school, I plan to attend college and major in psychology. I'm not committed to one school yet, but I've applied to Clemson University, Boston College, Indiana University, and some others, and I'm very excited to figure out where I'm going. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share with you today.
So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share what our students are doing. We're looking forward to participating in the sale of popcorn and roses that benefit the scholarship program. And I personally have felt that effect. Both of my older kids have been recipients of the scholarships and are at Ohio State right now doing wonderfully. And we are also, now that COVID has kind of we've figured out ways to deal with COVID in in more of a positive sense. We're bringing back the policy projects and the RAK projects around December, and we would love to have Rotarians come and evaluate our students' research and speaking skills. So please look forward to us contacting you about signing up and coming into the high school again if you're feeling comfortable to give our students some feedback on the work that they're doing. So thank you again for having us, and we're looking forward to working with you guys in the next couple months on some of those projects that we've been working on for years and years. Thanks.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Ben and Olivia, for sharing your experiences with us. I mean, I don't know how to really categorize what it would be like and how important it is for young people to work with homeless people, with the dying. That these are experiences that will change their life and stay with them forever. And so, really appreciate to Hudson High School for making that possible, and for these two young people for volunteering their time and doing that. We're going to continue our month-long series on Rotary, Imagining Rotary. And today we have our own foundation president, Keith Viers, here with us today. Keith has been a member since 2019, and he has been chairing our foundation for, I guess, last year, wasn't it? Okay. Keith is a banker at Northwest Bank here in Hudson, and he is our church's bank. So really good to see him here this morning. Let's welcome Keith as he comes.
Thank you. Hey, good morning, Rotary. How y'all doing? Good. Hey, I was so nervous having to do this presentation. I'm not by nature a public speaker. It's something I've always been kind of worried about. But the biggest thing that I had that challenged me was putting together a PowerPoint. And you can ask Father Joe. I saw him yesterday. I'm like, I got to do this PowerPoint. I'm not used to doing that. I've never done that. And then I realized I've got a daughter who's a communications major at Kent State University. So it's like, I'm her first paying client. So the PowerPoint's put together by my daughter, Sarah. So what I wanted to do today is really just kind of come and talk to you a little bit about, what the Rotary Foundation is. I realize that we've actually been around since 1997, I believe. Next slide. And we are the 501c3 charitable giving arm of our club. So, I don't know how much everybody in the club knows what we do or what we're about. So it's really important to me to make sure that we have this presentation today. Our mission statement, basically we facilitate charitable and community projects of the Rotary Club of Hudson. And really our goals and visions are to provide opportunities for young people to work for the relief of the special needs of others and to improve the quality of life in the community of Hudson. We support and contribute to the success and activities and projects of Rotarians. We fund scholarships for deserving high school students. We ensure that charitable beneficiaries selected and approved by the Rotary Club of Hudson are deemed eligible beneficiaries under the foundation's charter, bylaws, and IRS regulations. We inform and educate Hudson Rotarians about the activities of the Hudson Rotary Foundation on an ongoing basis, and to adhere to the highest standards of integrity and accountability in the management of these funds. So that's what we do. Our foundation structure, next. Now, our fiscal the fiscal year runs the same as the club. We go from July 1st to June 30th. We are managed by 11 members within our board of trustees, which are divided into three, what you would call classes of 3-year terms. So, it's divided up so that you don't have everybody, terms coming due at one time. So it is staggered. Our trustees can serve for 2 consecutive 3-year terms. So we can serve a total of 6 years concurrently, and then we have to come off the board for at least a year. Next. These are our members. So if you are here as I call your name, please stand up. So I am the foundation president. Patrick Shear is our vice president. Doug McDowell is our treasurer. Catherine Sines is our secretary. Thank you. And then the rest of our trustees include Chuck Nabufi, Kelly Brennan. You can stand up too, Kelly. I don't think Chuck's here yet. Philip Buto, George Snyder. And then we have Virginia Frazier, Jerry Zemlicka. And then David Basil is our club representative and a trustee as well. Thank you all for your service and for what you do for our organization, for the foundation, and for the club. We have several different committees that manage the operations of the foundation. We have an investment committee, and basically that committee takes a look at the funds that we are stewards of and make sure that they are being applied properly and that they are invested soundly for the betterment and the benefit of our club. We have the scholarship committee that we work with the club in order to deem worthy candidates possible to receive the scholarships that we give out every year. We give out 6 $3,000 scholarships for a total of $18,000. We have a budget committee that again takes a look at what we anticipate our annual revenues and expenses are going to be and try to make sure that we stay within line. Again, so that we're being responsible stewards of the club's funds. We have a nominating committee, which is charged with trying to find new trustees for our board from the membership of the Rotary Club. An audit committee is designed to really just take a look at our bylaws and the regulations and the rules that run the foundation, make sure that they are sound, make sure that we're adhering to them, and make sure that they're pertinent to what we're doing today. And then the grants committee, which is very important. They are charged with reviewing the grants that come into the club to determine the merits of those grants, to see if that's something that we can support. And then it's forwarded on to the club and to the board for approval for providing grants to the community at large in different projects. The grant process. So how does the grant process work? Well, first of all, grants come into the grant committee for them to take a look at and to vote on. Now, grants are, you can find a grant request on our website. So we do require that be filled out by any individual or any organization that's asking the club for a grant. So it first goes to our grants committee. They review it and they decide to either approve, modify, or deny the request. Once that is passed, if it's not a denial, we go to the second stage. Next. It's then presented to the Rotary Club Board of Directors for recommendation. So again, kind of the same thing. It goes to the club board, they review it, and then they make a determination whether to approve it, modify it, or deny the request. If the club decides to move forward with the grant, it comes back to the foundation board. The grant committee presents the final version of the grant request, and then our foundation board votes as to whether or not to approve the request or deny the request or modify the request. Charitable giving. So what have we done? So last year we gave $25,095 out to the community. 18,000 of those were in scholarships to worthy graduating students. Remaining 7,000 was to various grants within the community. Next. We also committed $50,000 to our beautiful Boy Scout cabin restoration project. It's such a landmark of our community, and we're responsible for that cabin. So we did commit those funds last year to its restoration as well as its maintenance. Past grant recipients include the Gift of Life, Hudson Job Search, Hudson High School Service Learning, who's here today, Boy Scout Troop 321, Hudson EMS, Boy Scouts of America, the Camp Manitowoc projects, and a variety of other projects. Go to the next one. HCTV, Music from the Western Reserve, Special Olympics of Ohio, Hattie Larum, Uncharted Waters, and then we do the scholarships to our graduating seniors. So again, a lot of great worthy projects that we've been involved with and have been proud to support over the years. So what are my goals as the president for this year? So there's really 4 things that I'm really trying to accomplish this year as president of the foundation board. First thing is to increase the foundation's visibility and communication within our club. It's important to me that all of our club members understand who we are and what we do. That everything is visible to you and that, I'm available to you and to the Rotary board, just again, to make sure that everything's there for you to understand how we work and what we're doing. The second thing is to review our bylaws and ensure ease of access to foundation records. So this is a project we've been working on. It's just kind of going through the bylaws, making sure that everything is being adhered to, making sure things are pertinent, as I said earlier, and making sure we get something put together and ratified by our board that makes sense and works for the club. Also just making sure it's easy for not only our current board, but future boards and for the club as a whole to find and access our records. Just to make sure that everything, again, is available and is transparent for our club. Raise awareness of the foundation and increase grant requests. Believe it or not, it seemed like we saw a real decrease in grant requests when COVID hit. You'd think it would have been the opposite, with everything that was going on and all the needs of the community, you thought there'd be more, but there has actually been less. So, it's important for us to really make sure that we are getting out in the community and telling our story of what Rotary is and what we do, and really trying to see how we can assist. So, part of what we're looking to do is, again, to try to get out there, try to find worthy recipients of grants, try to let them know who we are, as well as working with our marketing committee to, again, really expand the image of Rotary and make sure that Rotary is something that people think about, top of mind here in our community as a great opportunity to give back to the community of Hudson and the surrounding areas. And then finally, identifying our next big thing. So what does that mean? So, the big thing that we've been working on here, over the past few years has been the Boy Scout cabin. It's a landmark in our community. It is a very beautiful historic building, and we've been working very hard to restore that for the betterment of our community, for the Boy Scouts. And, that project is going to be coming to a close here soon. It's, something that we're really excited about. But what's the next big thing that we as a Rotary Club can invest in and be part of to really, again, let the community know what Rotary is about, show them our commitment, show them our dedication to the community of Hudson, something that really identifies the Rotary Club. So again, working with our marketing committee and working with other members of the club and the foundation, trying to determine what would that be? What's that going to look like? So those are the 4 big things that I'm looking to try to achieve this year. Our upcoming meeting dates. So we do have annual, but generally quarterly meetings. We meet right after the club meeting. They are open to the entire club. It's not just for us. So anybody who wants to come and attend is more than welcome to do so. The next one will be next week, October 26th. And then we have one scheduled for January 25th, April 26th, and then June 28th. So I try to keep them to an hour. I like to be a little long-winded sometimes, so they go a little bit over, but you try to keep it to an hour for, the betterment of everybody's time. So that's pretty much it. That's what we do in a nutshell for Hudson Rotary Foundation, and open it up to any questions that anybody has.
Keith,
Yes,
you did a great job.
thank you.
I mean, if you say you're an amateur, you're not. That was a good presentation.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
A couple of questions I asked. What's the value of the assets of the foundation right now?
I'll tell you that probably, since this is a public forum and going on, I don't want to go into that in too much detail. I can tell you after the meeting, or I can get that out to everybody, but we do have some decent assets that are there. I mean, is it okay if I tell you later? Because I don't like, is it all public?
Yeah,
I just don't want to give
public
out any, I'm a banker, so you got to realize when we talk about finances, I'm a little bit concerned with doing that, in public. Okay. Let me pull that up here real quick for you. Just give me a second. Let's see, actually, I can put it in here. I apologize.
While Keith is looking at that, I'd like to mention something that's very timely
There it is.
because it's coming up towards the end of the year. This is called the giving season. There's an opportunity here for members to contribute to the club in a very special way. And it started really back in Katrina when they had the big hurricane down in Katrina. And Congress passed what's called the qualified charitable distribution rules. Basically, an individual who has an investment in their 401k plan or their 403b plan or an individual retirement account can take out up to $100,000 of their fund and have it go directly to a charity without the donor having to pay any taxes on that at all. That's a neat opportunity for people who might want to be aware of that this is an opportunity to support Rotary Foundation, not only the club here, but also the national one, by making a qualified charitable distribution. If anybody has any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer it after the meeting. That's a year-round opportunity, and the donor can take out $100,000. His spouse can take out $100,000 also, or you can take out something less than that. And the interesting thing about it, that starts at age 70 and a half. 70. No, I think it's 70 and a half, isn't it, Tom? 70 and a half. So once you reach 70 and a half, and there's quite a few of us that are in that group, you can take money out and have it go directly to the charity and not have to pay a cent of taxes on it.
That counts towards your RMD, right?
It does. It does. That's an interesting point. To those who are subject to required minimum distributions, which start at 70, I think it's 70 and a half. Any amounts you take out count towards your required minimum distribution.
I do apologize. I don't, Doug, do you happen to know the investment, what we have in the investment? I do have the checking accounts in front of me.
That sounds about
I
right.
knew it was around that, and then we moved some. Okay.
Okay.
About 300,000. I know that we have about 132,000 in the Boy Scout cabin fund and about 20,000 in our general fund right now.
Cool. Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome. And I apologize. I was not prepared for that particular question because again, I was concerned about talking about that type of thing in an open forum.
I just wanted to say that the way in our bylaws, your bylaws, the basic investment fund cannot be touched unless the foundation agrees to pay it back.
Right.
Where
Yeah, we have what we call a permanent fund, which is there really for the organization to make sure that we can continue the organization during down times like what we've had in the past.
Yeah, what we can take out and did take out to fund the 50,000 for the Boy Scout cabin last year was any dividends and earnings that are thrown off. And we hadn't taken any money out, so we had accumulated at least $50,000 that we could take out for the Boy Scout cabin. So that's that's the way. And we really had never done that before because we never had a pandemic before.
Right.
Well, and last, because we've normally thrown off enough money from the gala. Okay, so we're in good shape.
Our first pandemic together.
Exactly.
So romantic, isn't it?
I'd also like to acknowledge the fact that we have had Rotarians who, when they have passed, have indicated that they would prefer memorials be made to our Rotary Foundation, specifically Tom Page. Tom's family was most gracious. We received a very sizable donation from his brother as well as his widow. So there are a number of ways that we do raise funds for the foundation. It isn't all just the gala. Our popcorn fund, and I believe the funds from our August Oktoberfest went there, as well as the fun time that we had with the Super Bowl pool last year that Jerry Zemlicka ran for us. That was the first time we'd done something like that, and it was really kind of fun, especially if you won something. So,
I'm also make the point too that, I mean, Dad and I, we observed this many times from our experience with foundations, is some of the largest gifts that foundations or organizations like this receive are from their members at the time that they pass. I'm not talking about asking your friends and families like Marilyn was just mentioning to make contributions to the foundation, but providing for the foundation in your own will or trust plan or whatever. That's a real opportunity. And I know Phil and I have done that, and I encourage all Rotarians to do the same.
Oh, we got a question down here.
I'm happy to say Keith is a new member of our marketing committee. And so he's going to provide some enlightenment as to how we raise the.
I don't know how much enlightenment I'm going to provide, but I'll do my best to help out.
But my question is, we would like to see more grant requests.
Yes.
Do we have any target audiences or companies or groups that you would like to see ask for money?
We haven't really identified that yet. I need to get with Phil is our grants committee chairman. And yeah, Catherine.
Catherine informs us that we're going to notify all of the people that we provided grants to in the past and ask them what the current status is.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot that we've done in the past that we haven't heard from recently, but there's also new ones that we want to look and identify as well.
Well, I'm thinking of it from a public relations standpoint. If we get the word out there that we are receptive, then we might get some interesting requests.
Definitely.
In that regard, a lot of those names you saw up there, we haven't heard from since the pandemic started. Because many of those organizations just weren't themselves doing anything.
Right.
And I don't know if, and we've found, and I've found that the people that used to ask for the grants probably have turned over. And some of the people in those organizations don't even know how to ask for the grant. So I think we have a educational process to go through to just get the olds. And if you're a member of any of those names, well, we've got one of the major groups right here. So
yeah,
we've done that. But if you're a member of any of those groups, bring that to the attention of their board. That like, we haven't heard from.
Yeah, definitely. We're your club. You know, we're all part of the same club. So if there's
We haven't heard
anything
from
that
cable TV, have we?
No, we haven't.
Like, it's still online, you know? Okay.
Right.
Do it.
But I think the point to drive again is that it's not just the foundation that can come up with these different organizations that we can give to. We're part of the same club. So if anybody out there that's not part of the foundation has any recommendations or ideas, please let us know, because we definitely want to make sure that we're serving the community of Hudson as well as honoring the members of our club here.
Hey, Keith, I have a question, not really a question.
Yeah.
It was new to me, the idea that we had a foundation that was separate from the club. I've only been a member here since 2011. You think I would have figured this out? Why do we have a club and then a foundation that's separate?
You know, I mean, I don't know the history behind it, to be honest with you. Was anybody here at that time that was part of the foundation? I know a lot of organizations will have a separate.
I can
Because of
answer that to
IRS.
some extent.
There
The
you go.
club is technically a 501c4 social organization. It is not a tax exempt charitable organization. So contributions that have been made to the club do not count or are not tax deductible.
Right.
However, we wanted to create a mechanism where people could make tax deductible contributions, and that's why we set up the foundation, which is a 501c3, but you have to have that line of separate. So it's two separate legal entities.
Right. Yeah, I apologize. I don't know the genesis of why that was. I mean, other than what you said about wanting to make sure it's charitable giving and so forth. Not every Rotary Club has a 501c3 foundation. We're not one of the few, but it's not common across all groups. So, I'm proud that we actually do have it. And again, like you're saying, a lot of organizations, like I was part of a Chamber of Commerce, and we had a separate 501c3 organization again, so that what we did was tax deductible any of the donations that we received. So. All right, any other questions? Oh, all right, thank you. Thank you very much.
So appreciate that. And yeah, you should hire that girl more. She did a really great job on that presentation. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Is she up for hire too? Because I might need a little
She
help.
might be, actually, so she has. So
Okay.
definitely look into that.
One thing I forgot to mention earlier today was that we are going to begin signups for Santa on the Green next week. Santa on the Green is not next week. We're going to begin signups for Santa on the Green next week. And we're still in need of two, a little bit long. We need one elf who's willing to work 3 hours, a 3-hour elf, as opposed to your 1-hour elf, you know. So we need a little heavier duty elf there, you know, action, especially if that elf happened to be good in sort of logistics and making sure things run smoothly. Yes. I'm sorry. Is she elf 1 or elf 2? You're elf 2. All right. How about that? We just solved half the world's problems right there. Yeah. So Santa on the Green, plan that. I think I have that as the 4th of December. Am I right on that date? The first Saturday, right? 3rd of December. Yeah. First Saturday. Make sure, yeah. This is a time to pull out your phones and stick it in there. And you know, and what other things you need to do. All right. Are there any other announcements that I forgot to mention? No? Rich? We get flower and candy sales coming up. I mentioned that. Are you coming forward to talk about that?
Yes, Father Joe asked me this morning, I'll be with Patrick on the Boy Scouts again to get the popcorn. And then I'll be working Maryland, be working with Costco to get the flowers. So I'll start pulling that together for everyone. I think last year, my memory serves me correctly, we closed it, right, Maryland, around the end of November. I can't remember when we, and I think we started at beginning of November. So I'll get you the dates. So work in process.
Okay. We're done before we play that team up north.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
okay.
this is for in honor of Tom Page, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Well, I didn't know how much to go on, so just a quick story today. No, we have Rotabuck first. And get up here and give a sports report.
Most of the high school teams are in the tournament competition. Some of them are wrapping up with golf and tennis, but soccer is going strong. Football is 9-0 and has its last home game coming up on Friday night against Stow, our arch rival. And then if all things go well, we'll be hosting the first two tournament games. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Go Hudson. And now we have our Rotabuck raffle. So maybe one of the service learning people here will come and select that. Will you come select a number for us? Then great. You're both on the soccer team? All right. We'll just pull one of those out there and yeah, read us those numbers.
599793.
793. You got to look at your tickets, Jay. Oh, okay. 793. Nobody? Oh, okay, Andy. All right. You won $9. Thank you. What's that? Is it you or is it him?
So before I forget, so
I do.
So we promoted the football game for Friday night against Stow, right? We promoted the Friday night. All right, finish up. Good. Oh, I'm sorry, Kel. Maybe you didn't get it. Okay, maybe next week. So I was gonna say, so Friday night, the big arch rivalry game, football against Stow. I think we have a Saturday evening.
There's a games for soccer Saturday night, boys, 7 p.m. against Aurora. We're first seed, and Aurora just beat a team, so we play them. And she's on girls side.
Yeah, let's get a girls soccer update too.
Yeah.
We're the 4th seed and we have a game Thursday at 6 at home.
Wonderful. Home is at Hudson Memorial Stadium. So get out there and support our explorers.
All right.
Hey, Father Joe, I suggest you contact Kelly, because if he can give you the verbiage for that prayer he had, that may cover your whole sermon on Sunday.
That's an old Irish prayer. Yeah, I didn't know that Kelly had those Celtic roots, but you know, we appreciate it. You know, there's another one that goes something like sort of a toast. I'm trying to remember it now. Oh goodness, cilantro to you this morning. And I can't remember. And while you're in bed, and may you be in heaven 30 minutes before the devil knows you're dead, or something like that, which sort of goes along with that same one. Yeah. So this is my quick story. And this is about a farmer who bought a piece of land in Kansas, and it was in really bad disrepair. Nobody had taken care of it for years. And so he buys this piece of land and he clears out this section, and it was, you know, thistles and thorns and brush and whatever. And he works and he works and he works, and he finally gets it cleared out, and then stump removal, all the sort of things you could imagine. And then he plants this beautiful, massive garden. You know, we've got rows of beans and tomatoes and melons and everything. And he's corn. He's planting all sorts of vegetables in there, and he's tending to it, and he's watering it and weeding it and all the things that you do. And it begins to flourish. And as the months go by, it more and more and more. And then come, you know, late summer, early fall, he's got this massive garden, and he's so excited about it that he goes to church so that he can tell his minister all about it. And he's at church afterward, and he says, you won't believe it. It's just amazing. You should come and see it. And so the minister does. He comes and he sees the garden, and he looks at it, and he says, oh, look, the Lord has blessed you with these wonderful tomatoes. And look how God has given you these great green beans and this corn. And the Lord has blessed you with all this, you know, this abundance of harvest with melons and peas and all of this. And the farmer's starting to get a little fidgety. And he looks over and he says, Reverend, you should have seen this land when the Lord was working it by himself. Yeah. Hey, you guys have a great day. Go make a difference in somebody's life.